Alright, so, how you all doing boys? Hope you're doing well now. In today's video, wanted to go over what is the brand new best team for the Deer raid. Now, before we get into this one, I would just like to say this is all a voiceover. I did do my last Deer video as a voiceover as well, and it definitely worked better in that sense, because actually going through the phases did end up taking me a little over an hour. Just being stuck on that second floor, constantly resetting for the right passives is such a hassle, but with this team here, I didn't even have to reset for any of the passives, and I actually didn't end up losing to the Deer once. I could have easily recorded this whole video, all been live, and done it in easy succession. There is, unfortunately, you'll see on the second floor right at the end, it does get cut off right before the final turn. One of my things ran out of storage and video cut off, but that's all fixed now, and I would just like to say this is my very first time using this team as well, so you will see at the beginning here, I end up fumbling around with the cards a little bit, trying to get around my head the new cycle, because I used to have it in a different order, and I don't know, for some reason, I just could not get my head around it. But you'll see in this first turn alone, we end up finishing off the cycle with the Skadi, and Brunhald with a level 1 Power Strike card hits just shy of 400,000. That in itself is ridiculous and way more than anything Trader Melee can do turn 1, which instantly puts you off to a great start, and not actually having Trader Meliodas in your team ends up helping out so much more. Main reason being is he doesn't actually apply to the Jormungandr effect, obviously having to be one of the characters in the wheel in the top right. Melee's a dark type, so effect doesn't work on him, and I don't know, having the Brunhald should actually work so insanely well for this content. You'll see everyone just hitting such amazing numbers, and even in some of the later floors as well, where you're typically wanting to save up ultimates to go ahead and clear through the phases as quick as possible. As long as you've got the right card draw and you can actually do the cycle, you end up doing enough damage with just level 1 cards, which is so ridiculous to think. I've been a person who, pretty much for the Deer's entire lifespan, it is the last thing I want to do. I do my daily stuff and it is like, ugh, how many more days do I have left to do the Deer? Because it's the first thing on my mind, but it's the last thing I want to end up doing. So the fact that I can just easily beat this within a matter of like 10 minutes now, granted, there are going to be a couple times where I get a little worse RNG and it's not going to go as perfectly as it did here, but we even end up getting the right passive for this one, which it helped out. It's nothing crazy. Let's see if we can actually, I think we end up 2-turning this phase 3, which is pretty good, especially since the phase 3s usually end up being fairly tankier. The fact that we use the double power strike card definitely helps out, and obviously you do want to end up saving your ultimates for the 4th phase. Anything like that you can still keep doing is going to be really good, but it's not like an absolute necessity. Still kind of wrapping my head around the Jormungandr passive. I obviously know how it works with the whole cycling thing, but passives in this game are just getting so long and so confusing. It's the same with on the JP version, if you guys keep up with that one. There's a new Tarmiel who has a blue buff card, and even just reading that is so confusing. His grace as well is, if you guys haven't seen that Tarmiel, by the way, it's a red Tarmiel. Man, is absolutely ridiculous. What they put that unit, like, we are finally starting to get units that start looking like Trader Meliodas and King. Finishing off at the 3rd phase there. In fact, Jormungandr has the HP, oh, not the HP still, but like the regeneration effect on her whip card. So nice. You really don't even need any of you can use the damage reduction artifact set if you like, and especially if you don't have the single target, the demonic beast battle one, I'd probably even recommend using the Ragnarok one instead, but you can see we get through that so quickly. So yeah, the Jormungandr on her whip card, on the level 1, she does only heal the character with the lowest HP, which is still good, but level 2 and level 3 it ends up healing all allies, which is very helpful. The Brunhald ultimate also has a healing effect, and Skadi's ultimate as well has a healing effect, which is really nice. Although hers is an AoE ultimate, I do believe, you still end up getting a lot of HP, and all these characters pretty much, I would say having dupes in Brunhald and especially Escanor is very nice. I feel like Escanor is a character who's popular enough and has been on enough banners that most of you guys will have him 3, 4, 5, and 6 out of 6, so that's alright. But Jormungandr as well, literally out of the gates of summoning this character, she is as useful as she would be to you as she is to me in this video, and don't get me wrong, I have UR gear for her, I have all of her cosmetics, mainly for the PvP showcase, and I mean, I like to spend money on the game. I like making content, I like spending money, I like having all these little things, but if you can summon on that banner, which I highly incentivize on doing, I know the Tarmiel's coming out and we're probably going to get a festival sometime within the next week or two on the JP version. please, please, please summon for Jormungandr. You're literally hurting your account if you don't end up doing so. I mean, even when it comes to character design, she is... Jormungandr from a character design standpoint is actually so well done. They always kill it with these Ragnarok characters. I don't think there's been one Ragnarok character that's been a miss, whether it's been Skadi, Miguelda, Sigurd, Brunhild. They've all been such good characters. There are a couple of the OC characters which I'm not the biggest fan of. Camilla, and there's certain other ones, even like, I don't know, even like the original Valenti, I'm not a huge fan of. The Mark II Valenti is sick and made me end up liking the original Valenti a little bit more. It is what it is. This is the first time we'll see the actual damage block effect come in, so we'll go ahead, cycle through everything here. I think we end up getting the Escanor ultimate in this next turn, which is why I didn't go ahead and do anything. Yeah, I think I wasn't paying much attention to the game, but I think I merged the card, or moved the card, should I say, and then use it. Another thing about Skadi as well, replacing Matrona was such a good thing to do with her, because the amount of times where you'd be doing the deer, and you'd be using Matrona, and you end up getting the taunt card and aren't able to continue your cycle, kills so many runs. It's so bad. Having Skadi have the double single target cards is absolutely amazing. Not only does she have buff removal on one of her cards, but her passive, where when she debuffs herself, she lowers the enemy's like stats and whatnot. The fact that most deers, or should I say most bosses, pretty much every boss in the game, cannot be debuffed, so a unit that debuffs themselves to weaken the enemy is very good. It's not a huge thing, you don't have to constantly have Skadi with a whole bunch of debuffs, but it definitely ends up helping up, and it's a little thing that the more ways you can just like get extra damage in this, the better it is. We'll end up going through this third phase once again pretty quickly. Removes buffs there. Do we have another? I think the Jormungandr also has a buff removal card, and then she has the heal one. Brunhild as well with her Power Strike card. She has the other one that does the extra damage per ultimate gauge, which pretty much in all boss fights is going to be a really good card. I don't think we end up seeing any 2 or 3 stars throughout all the runs, but she is so good at dealing damage and easy up there with Escanor. If it wasn't for Escanor's death effect and the fact that most of these bosses have the damage reduction to kind of stop them just being one-tapped by characters like Derry, Brunhild's definitely up there. I'm definitely happy with her like addition to the team. And still, Skadi, Jormungandr, and Brunhild are all characters without Holy Relics, so we could end up seeing these deers, or at least these deer attempts, should I say, being so much faster. Look at that, level 1 detonate card, hitting 400,000 on like the tankiest phase of the deer. Absolutely ridiculous. We are holding on to all of these ultimates to pretty much finish the 4th phase. Once again, it's not something you need to do, but it definitely helps out. In the 3rd floor, I would say, just because you only get those 4 or 5 turns to actually finish before the deer but gets its immunity and the counter goes up and you end up taking just insurmountable amounts of damage. I think we end up double moving the Escanor card here so we get the ultimate. Didn't do the full cycle, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure if it dropped straight away. If someone could like try and just baby down and explain to me the Jormungandr passive in the comment section down below, please do, because I still feel like we're hitting just as hard in this turn. Granted, we are going to use the Jormungandr ult to start it off, if it wasn't for the passive, which is very unfortunate. Usually this for me with the ult team would be an instant reset. I pretty much only went for the attack passive. If it was that, especially if it was the revive passive, I don't know, maybe I'd still reset if I got the revive passive. It's just such a pain to get through. Maybe we are hitting as hard here. Maybe I did drop the passive from Jormungandr, because I feel like this card will hit a lot stronger. Yeah, look at that. Really don't need ultimates. I think the deer removes our ultimates again in this turn. If not, that's right. I think you should actually see right at the end of the deer's turn here. Yeah, that's where you get the skip. Pretty much just me showing that I completed it and that we're on there. Same passives and whatnot, so we didn't end up losing that one. You could tell with the fact I had the Escanor ultimate in hand that we're going to get through that one. Brunhild's starting off with just under half HP, which isn't the greatest, but with the fact that Jormungandr has her lifesteal card, or I'm just going to call it a lifesteal card because it's easier for me to remember, we can get Brunhild back to, I think she'll go back to full HP right off the bat. Extra Skadi card is really nice as well. Having the 2 green characters as well just means when you're cycling, you can start off with green and end with green a lot more often. This team is just so well done. Really hoping we get the Jormungandr artifact sometime soon, but not too soon, because we've seen with characters like the one where pretty much, I think it was in the 2nd batch of characters to get holy relics, just due to the fact of that, and they hadn't started making really strong holy relics. He got given a terrible holy relic, and the one's a character everyone likes. Like, everyone would have loved to have seen the one get a super strong holy relic later on in the line and just be completely revived. Even if they had just made it to it where it was, I think it's just 30% buff to attack stat. If they had to change that to attack related stats and given him some extra crit chance and crit damage, Mans could easily be a top tier unit still. Only thing stopping the one from being good is the fact that it is impossible for him to crit nowadays. So half the time you're better off running him in PvP, at least as a HP defense unit in the back or an association supporting CC. But when it comes to this PvE content, he is still easily SS plus tier, whatever you want to call it. I think this is where, in this final floor, I do end up thinking a little bit more about the card draw, just because I was like, hold on, we've gotten through the first and the second floor first try. Surely I can just clean sweep the deer, which I don't think I've ever done. Yeah, this would definitely be the first attempt. I did end up beating it fairly quickly upon the deer's release. Granted, there will still a couple resets here and there, but from that moment forward, deer has been an absolute hassle. The whole color rotation attribute thing is such a miss. Look, it has gotten a whole lot easier with Jormungandr, but I still feel like we could have gone without. I'm sure they'll do a lot better job with the third and final Demonic Beast. It could be the final. I feel like it will be. We'll end up getting demon artifacts from them, I could imagine, and then some other one when we get characters, or when we get artifacts for characters like Derriere and Monspeed, even characters like Trader Meliodas and Demon Meliodas, honestly going to be so hyped for those. Hopefully by that point, the global version has actually caught up to the JP version, and I can make those videos along with everyone else, because that's the only thing about the global version at the moment is, especially being a content creator, it's always so bad because I'm making these videos a week after everyone else has made them. And with other gacha games, it's like, let's choose Dokkan for example. Year 7 anniversary drops, everyone's super excited, all that happens, and then like 6 months later, the global version gets in, everyone's like, oh look, the excitement's been building up, it drops, everyone's hype again. It happened a week ago on the JP version. Everyone's seen this a week ago. So thank you guys really for watching these videos. Honestly means the world to me. But hey, we're getting towards the end of this one. Deer has been real easy. If you guys haven't summoned for Jormungandr, please go ahead and do so. And please, Netmarble, if there's anything I can do about this game, please catch us up to the JP version. It's honestly, I feel like it's something gacha games should do a whole lot more. I know there are a whole bunch of, like, especially global players that prefer the games not to be matched up, so they can have time to save, stuff like that. You can know what to do with your game a little bit more. But playing in the moment and in the hype with the JP version is, in my opinion, just so much better. First time, actually, I think it's first time we've seen the Skadi ultimate in this video. Skadi actually got a new Hawk Pass skin on the JP version, and my oh my. Is that skin something? It is the skin looks so good. The cutout especially. I haven't actually seen how the skin looks in game, but the cutout itself is enough. It is, I just can't get over how good it is. Pretty much finished this third phase here. Can't go into the next one with the ultimate. And with the fact that pretty much every single turn the deer does an AoE card that removes ultimates, gonna be pretty hard to start getting that one. I would actually, maybe I might go ahead and do a video with the revive passive and see how many attempts it takes for me to beat deer, because could potentially make for an interesting video. I do really want to start using some different teams for deer, maybe like a 7 catastrophe team, full demon team. Would a full fairy team even be able to do it, even with Jormungandr? I don't think it could. Are there any good red? We could use Glocks. I don't know. I'll think about that one. For sure. Also, using the 2-star flood right at the bat there to cycle through the damage reduction from the deer, definitely not the greatest play in the world. Would have much rather have used the 2-star card there. Still gonna do some pretty decent damage, and usually on this final phase I end up messing up and proccing the revive, because if you guys don't know, once you get the deer to, I think it's 20% and below HP, the deer will revive back to full HP, which pretty much instantly deems your run useless. I thought we got lucky and got the merger there for Escanor. I was so hype about that, but then the second AoE came in. You can see me draw a little sad face there, and I feel like we've talked about pretty much everything I want to talk about for this video. Would definitely recommend using Brunhild over other characters. I feel like Other characters in mind would probably be the Green Arthur, but with how her passive works and having like everyone on the field increase her stats, she is just such a great character. If you guys have her built up, please go ahead and use her. She'll make your life so much easier. Having the Escanor ultimate again here, which is going to get removed. Don't get me wrong, the Deer doesn't do it guaranteed, the ultimate removal, but it's pretty much guaranteed. You have to be very, very lucky. It's not something you should bet on by any means to like kind of win your runs. I thought for a second I had it there. And thank God. I mean, we did get 2 buff removal cards anyways. Just went for that one there. And then I think we were just a slither off actually getting the Revive to proc. You see, really gamble with it there. Could have had a couple more ultimate gauge on the Deer, but Youngana just managed to finish. If one of those didn't crit, I would have done the reset and had to have gone through it, but literally no resets, no losses. And there it is. This new Jormungandr, absolutely in love with this unit. That just about does it for today's video. Also, some nice purple stones there, which you love to see. That just about does it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Really means a lot to me, and I'll see you guis for some more Grand Cross content.